It's Mary, Queen MLB. Talk to me Tuesday, June 4th, 2019. And I have nothing to show you, but I want to talk to you about a couple things, see if anybody's got any input. Here's what's on my mind. I became very interested in AccuQuilt this week, and it's something I've looked at before, and I was about ready to buy one when I realized that I may have some of what I need and be able to save some money. So if anybody has done any of this, let me know if I'm on the right track. I have at least 4 Sizzix Big Shots of various sizes. I think I have one specifically for fabric, but it's exactly the same as the ones for paper. It's just a different color. When people ask me what I do, I say I'm a fabric and fiber artist, and by that I mean this is why I have all of this equipment I've collected over the years. I draw, I paint, I color, I watercolor, I scrapbook. I am a photographer. I'm very good at Photoshop. I make greeting cards. If you've ever gotten a greeting card from me, I don't buy those. I make them. I have artwork on my walls, mostly for birthdays and things. I'll make people things either out of fabric or fiber. And then when it comes to fiber, you guys are more familiar. I'm a seamstress, I'm a quilter, I'm a anything dealing with fiber. I'll upholster. This is just things I like, dealing with fiber and paper. So because of that, on top of the Sizzixes that are the Big Shots that I've used for everything you can imagine, I also have a Silhouette Cameo, which is kind of the equivalent of a Cricut, I guess, if you've seen those. It's and with the proper software, you can, for instance, for my Peanuts quilt, it's applique to start with, and I have the applique patterns. If I were to put that through my Silhouette software, I could then get my Silhouette to cut those shapes out of my Peanuts characters. I've used it mostly to cut cardstock and vinyl. In my kitchen, all of my canisters and all of my everything have the vinyl letters on it. I've made vinyl whole things for walls. I've made stencils all on the Silhouette, up to chipboard books, a lot of scrapbooking stuff, and a lot of greeting cards, pop-up cards, 3-dimensional cards, boxes, everything you can imagine on the Silhouette. Well, Silhouette also cuts fabric, and I do have a fabric blade. And I've not done it because I've always had scissors. And so if I ever want to fancy cut something for a really detailed applique, then I have that ability and I'm willing to try it. And I don't know if you use the same, the concept is you stick your paper or board or anything you're cutting, vinyl, onto a sticky surface, and then feed that through, and the robot cuts it out for you. And so I don't know if you can use the same sticky pads or if it's something different, because it seems like the fabric would really get stuck down to that, and you'd have to peel it off, and that would rip the detail work, or I don't know. I can easily find this out. I've just not done fabric on that because I am able to cut fabric on my Big Shots. And so, for instance, I am making one of my UFOs that you guys haven't seen is because I started it after my mom went in the nursing home, and so it's I wasn't doing videos when I made this one, it's circles. I wanted to applique circles onto charms. So it's 5.5-inch blocks with circles appliqued onto them. And I think it's I'm pretty sure it's a 4.5-inch circle on a 5.5 unfinished inch block. And then I used my machine to applique that down with a blanket stitch. And I think all the blanket stitch is in black, but every single one of the circles is different. I used charm packs for those also, so the circles are all appliqued onto these squares, but all the squares are the same color, and there's no sashing or anything. You sew the squares together, and it's just this awesome array of circles all in rows, all different. And I may have to make some more to get it up to a good size, because I was making it a hospital bed size for my mom in the nursing home. Anyway, so for that I used my Big Shot, because I have a die for that size circle, and I could cut 5-6 of them at a time, just stack them up, put them through. I would press the I can't remember any good words tonight, but that adhesive stuff, it's like the sticky pad, the adhesive stuff that you put on the back of the applique. I would iron all those on my charm packs, stack them 5 or 6 high, shoot them through my Big Shot, and I sat down one afternoon and made 100 of these. And so I really don't take the time. I do love software, and I do love learning new programs, but I really don't take the time to learn things on other equipment when I have equipment that'll do it. So I had that circle. I didn't need to learn how to do fabric on the silhouette. But I digress. Anyway, the silhouette, of course, is automated, similar. It's actually the same sort of SVG kind of vector programming that the long arm quilters use, the robots on those, and the Cricut, and the silhouette, and what are some other things that do this? There's some CAD programs. Anyway, it's all the same, which is why I caught on so fast to EQ8. It's all the same kind of. It's almost Photoshop. I mean, it's all the same kind of design. And so I have equipment. So my point is, I have discovered in my research of the NQC quilt this week, trying to decide which one I need, because I really just want to buy one. I'm on a stricter budget than I used to be. And so when I was researching that, I discovered that you can use the NQC quilt dies on the Sizzix Big Shots. And it's just a question of size, but even my smallest one can do a 5-inch die. I can do, I think up to 8.5 inches wide on the Big Shot Pro. Anyway, if I can use the NQC quilt dies on equipment I already have, the question is, would that be an option to buying the NQC quilt, because I would need the NQC quilt and the dies, and I have the Big Shots, and I have a lot of Big Shot dies, some of them very, very detailed that I use for greeting cards, and but I'm not opposed to buying the NQC quilt. And Sizzix makes quilting dies. They make the HSTs and the they keep them small, but if you want to make 2.5-inch squares, I don't know why you would. I've got that die. I can cut most of triangles and that kind of stuff on the dies and Big Shots I already have. Anyway, so my thoughts tonight are, if NQC quilt has more quilter-friendly dies, meaning, like I saw the Drunkard's Path, you have an arch and it's got a little tab on there, that seamstress has used to match up. And so you can, they have the tabs, they can have, you know, cuts on them that mark where your seams are when you're piecing or whatever. So if AccuQuilt has more quilting dies, which I think they do, and they work on my bit shots, which I think they will, then I can meet my goal of not further exacerbating my tennis elbow. No, I don't play tennis, Doc. You're nuts, but repetitive motion. I can snap my finger. I might have told you a couple weeks ago that hadn't gone away yet. I can accomplish my goal of being able to cut more without exacerbating my tennis elbow more if I do that. AccuQuilt dies in my big shot. If somebody knows a reason why that won't work, please let me know, or if you have a recommendation for an AccuQuilt or the Go Quilt or whichever one you think I might need. I appreciate it. In fact, the Big Shot has the same crank system as the AccuQuilt. So that's what I'm thinking. And with that thought in mind, I did come across I got an email today that I think, pretty sure it's National Quilter Circle, is, I'm in so many quilt-alongs I can't keep track of it, but I think it's National Quilting Circle is starting a new quilt-along. The supply list is out, but the quilt-along actually starts in June, and it's sponsored by AccuQuilt. And it has a lot of triangles and a lot of circles, and I think the curves are more applique. So I think it's applique and piecing, but I think what I think they're going to do, because I've had some quilt-alongs with them, and they usually give you options, like when you paper piece, they give you options of traditional piecing. I think they're going to base this on the AccuQuilt dies, but they'll give you a pattern if you want to cut them yourself. And the quilt is not a mystery. I've seen it. It's beautiful, and it's designed by the same woman. And I can't remember her first name. She's got a great first name. Last name is Lischko. Can't remember her last name. But you see this quilt that's behind my stars? That was a mystery quilt-along, and she designed that one. And she's excellent, and the instructions are just phenomenal. Anyway, don't know if I'm getting in this quilt-along, but it would be a good introduction to the AccuQuilt kind of system instead of rotary cutting, which I have to do less of. That graduation quilt was big, and the quilting on that, I mean, these when I'm doing one block at a time, or any of these that I'm doing one block at a time, even if I'm making 3 or 4 of the blocks, doesn't really hurt my arm as much. But when I'm making a quilt like the graduation quilt, where I'm just, turning my hand to that angle and pressing down, that's the same, I guess, as a backhand, and then I feel like I've just played too much tennis. So anyway, those are my thoughts, and I would appreciate any input you have on that. And that's all I got. I'm getting back to trying to finish some things. I have 6 or 7. I stacked up all of my quilts that just need to be bound. The binding is sewn on them. I just need to get on the back and hand sew them down. And so it's kind of been hot. I don't want it to put those in my bed and over me and put those at night. Plus I have a cat now that I don't want on it. So anyway, I have a whole bunch, at least 6, maybe 8 or 9 things that all I have to do is get the binding on them and they'll be finished. So I'm just that close to more finished things. So I will do that. You've seen them all. I showed them to you before they were bound, but that's kind of a goal right now. And I do want to finish the Talk to Me Tuesday and the peanuts, of course, so very, very excited about that. Did get all the blocks designed, 31 of them, and I am ready to cut them. The question is, am I going to cut them on my silhouette? Am I going to, I don't know. They're kind of odd shapes. To cut them on the silhouette, I would have to get the FK design off of EQ8 into the right format, which I think I can do, and then put it into the silhouette software to tell the Cameo how to cut it, when at this point I can print them and cut them by hand easier than doing that over. And if I knew I was doing that to start with, I might have designed them in the silhouette. Anyway, I am looking forward to doing that, and I am ready to do that. Excuse me. My throat's been real dry today. It's kind of been dusty out. And the air's blowing hair in my face. So anyway, getting back to some things that are just very important to me that I've been neglecting because I've had other things to do. And I do have a new program I need to learn, because on my, Molly comes with 2 programs. One is the Pro Stitcher, which is the robot that tells her where to move the needle to quilt. And the other one is Art and Stitch, which is very similar to EQ8 and the Silhouette software, Silhouette Studio, where you can create your own quilt designs. And I have so many right up here, but since I haven't learned the software yet, because I have to install that on a weekday, and you know, we've had the whole 21 days without internet, and had some other things pressing, so that's a goal too, to get my Art and Stitch. Anyway, enough of my to-do list, because I could go on for years. Anybody have any suggestions? Get me out of this confusion. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.